On a fundamental level, Green Lantern is about exploring the places where willpower intersects with fear. What scares us, and how do we handle it? For that reason, I've always thought that horror is the perfect genre for Green Lantern stories. And while we've been lucky enough to get a handful of horror here and there over the years, there's never been a full-on Green Lantern horror series. Until now. At the 2023 New York Comic-Con, DC Comics announced that it would be bringing back Elseworlds, a line of miniseries that take place out of continuity, far away from the mainline DC universe. Although many, if not all of them, do take place somewhere in the DC multiverse, making them all canon anyway, but that's a broader discussion for another time. Along with all of the Batman and Justice League-centric offerings was something surprising. A 7-issue Green Lantern miniseries, described as a dark fantasy set on a post-apocalyptic Earth where the only hero left is the Green Lantern. It was later confirmed that this series takes place in the Tangent Comics universe, so if you'd like some background on this world and its version of Green Lantern, I recommend checking out my previous video where I do a deep dive into all of that. Now, I was happy enough that we were getting another new Green Lantern book, and the fact that it's playing in the Elseworld space is pretty cool. But I got really excited once I saw that this miniseries, titled Green Lantern Dark, is coming from some of the creators behind Something is Killing the Children and its spin-off series House of Slaughter. In case you don't already know, Something is Killing the Children is a comic book horror franchise that's been ongoing since 2019, and as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best horror comics out there. So imagine my joy when I realized that the creators of my favorite horror comics were going to be telling a 7-issue Green Lantern story. This seems too good to be true. Can this possibly live up to my sky-high expectations? Let's find out! Green Lantern Dark #1 is written by Tate Bromble with art by Werther Dell'Edera, colors by Giovanna Nero, and letters by Tom Nakayama. The title of this issue is Chapter 1, Lantern's Light. This issue is really the story of a young girl named Lunette, daughter of the mayor of a small village in New England that's appropriately named Lantern's Light. It's been years since everything sank into an ever-growing darkness. The heroes tried to hold back the apocalypse, but they were overwhelmed, and the world they left behind is full of monstrous beasts that rule the night unopposed, with one of the most dangerous being Grundy and his horde of zombies, which is constantly getting larger and larger. The world hasn't completely fallen into darkness, at least not yet. They still get a few hours of sunlight each day, and that makes it easier to stay hopeful and stick together as a community. But the close-knit nature of a small rural community can be a source of both strength and paranoia. Some people have become more wary of outsiders than usual, and would feel safer if they didn't let in any unfamiliar faces. Fortunately for everyone, Lunette's mother, Andy, is the mayor, and her level-headed kindness manages to hold things together. She's also a complete badass. This lady cut a zombie's hand off with a dull knife before stabbing it in the face. It's no wonder these people can go about their daily routines so casually. I'd feel a lot safer with Mayor Andy in charge too. The people of Lantern's Light hold regular gatherings in the local church, where individuals will get up in front of everyone and perform. And Lunette uses these gatherings as an opportunity to inspire everyone with the story, the legend of the Green Lantern. This mythic figure that walks among us, a lone light in the darkness, fighting for us all somewhere out there in the cruel dark world. Lunette believes with all her heart that the Green Lantern will save them all one day, which is a little surprising considering her age. Based off an offhand remark made by her brother Kane, the world has been this way for most of Lunette's life. If she's young enough, she may not even have any memories of the pre-apocalypse. So all of this hope that drives her has nothing to do with wanting to return to the way things used to be, since that's a world Lunette never lived in. All of her ambition is about pushing forward. It's not about nostalgia for the past, it's hope for the future. She believes the Green Lantern can beat back the darkness, and she knows that they can all help. Unfortunately, the person who needs the most convincing is the Green Lantern herself. This is Rena Mori, a brand new character carrying on the legacy and the burden of the Green Lantern. We don't know the circumstances of Rena's origin because she spends most of this issue pushing people away, but we do have a few pieces. Rena says she never asked to become the Green Lantern, that she was only a child. And when asked about who resurrected Grundy, we see a brief flash of Rina's memory, in which a pair of bloody hands are giving her the lantern. So maybe the classic Tangent Comics Green Lantern resurrected Grundy, who lashed out at her, and then she passed on her power before succumbing to her wounds. And Rina was just in the right place at the right time. I don't know, I still have so many questions. Like, was there a reason to resurrect Grundy in the first place? And why is Grundy still here? The way it usually works is that anyone brought back to life by the Green Lantern returns to their grave pretty quickly, since they're only here to complete some kind of unfinished business, like avenging their own murder. But Grundy has stayed around for a very long time, and makes a comment near the end of the issue that sounds like he wants to go back to his grave, and he seems to think that killing the Green Lantern is the only way he can do that. Anyway, they always say you should never meet your heroes, and Lunette's learning the hard way that the legends don't quite match up with reality. Grundy is targeting the Green Lantern, and wants her dead so that he can go back to his grave, which means an ever-growing army of death follows her wherever she goes. The brighter she shines her light, the more zombies she attracts. So while Lunette sees the Green Lantern as the woman who will light the way towards humanity's bright future, Rina sees herself as a harbinger of death. It's worth mentioning that Grundy raises his zombie army by spreading some sort of seeds that take root in corpses and reanimate them. Purple flowers sprout on all of the zombies, so I wonder if this could actually be the Tangent Universe version of the Black Mercy plant? In the regular DC universe, Grundy is a zombie with strong ties to the ecosystem of Slaughter Swamp, and the Black Mercy is a parasitic plant that overtakes the minds of its host, so it would actually make a lot of sense to combine them for an alternate version like this. I don't know if that's what this is, but I think it would work really well if it was. Thanks to Lunette slowing her down, Rina ended up lingering in the village of Lantern's Light longer than she had planned, and now everyone would pay the price. Grundy and his horde arrived and immediately began flooding the streets with the reanimated, blooming bodies of loved ones, who mindlessly pushed forward, ripping apart everyone in their path. In the chaos, Mayor Andy got swept up by the horde, and re-emerged as one of them. The community lost its leader, and Lunette lost her mother. Rina wants to leave, but she can't bring herself to abandon all of these people. She also doesn't believe there's anything she can do to stop all of this, so she decides to at least buy the townsfolk some time to barricade themselves inside of the local church by throwing up a shield, a massive dome covering the area. This is significant because we really haven't seen the Tangent Comics Green Lantern make constructs before. She mainly just resurrects people, and in later appearances they leaned pretty heavily on her ability to teleport herself and others great distances through portals. Actually, I wonder why she didn't do that to evacuate the village. Maybe the energy at the other end of the portal would draw zombies to the new location too. Either way, that's not important. What matters here is the way Rina explains what it is she's doing. Regarding the shield, she says, "These spells are my wishes that I'm willing into existence." And that phrasing is important because it allows the Tangent Green Lantern to maintain her unique supernatural flair while still having powers that function more or less like what you'd expect from a more standard Green Lantern. Rina is struggling to maintain the dome as more and more zombies try to push their way through it. At the same time, zombies that were already inside try to attack her from behind, splitting her concentration, bringing the shield that much closer to collapsing. And through it all, Lunette refuses to leave her side. It doesn't matter how bad things get, what they lose, who they lose. Lunette believes in the Green Lantern, believes in Rina, and will not let go of that belief any more than she'll let go of the small lantern she's been carrying around this entire issue. Her own little defiant protest against the darkness threatening to swallow them all up. And that dedication is enough to stir something in Rina. She may have just been passing through, but she'd been there long enough to hear Lunette speaking at the church gathering. Green Lanterns of every universe are stubborn to a fault. It's what happens when willfulness is a person's defining trait. And that kind of determination can be enough to let a person power through and overcome incredible odds. And yet, nothing motivates a good person to take action quite like the knowledge that other people are relying on them. With Lunette by her side, Rina is finally able to stop running. This village is doomed unless she stands her ground and lives up to her own legend. Rena has finally acknowledged the fact that Lunette's words are what motivate her to keep going. And Rena isn't the only one who's accepted Lunette's help. The fire inside of Lunette's little lantern suddenly turns green. According to Rena, the power within the Green Lantern has chosen to ally itself with Lunette. The two of them reach out with their combined power, touch the minds of the entire Horde with the light of their willpower, and return free will to all of the zombies, who immediately attack Grundy in defense of the village. I'm not sure if this means we're done with Grundy now or what. I kind of assumed that he would be the big bad looming over this whole miniseries, but maybe not. I guess we'll know soon enough. The issue ends with everyone rejoicing. Rena got to feel like a hero for probably the first time ever, Lunette got to protect the village, and now all of them know that the legend of the Green Lantern is true after all. As we zoom out further and further away from the village of Lantern's Light, we see the green light in Lunette's lantern spread to all of the other lanterns being carried by the villagers, until the entire town is filled with a hopeful light that defiantly chases away the darkness. The very last page is a map of New England, with a large green lantern marking the location of the village. It makes me wonder if every issue is going to take place somewhere new, and we'll be seeing Rena slowly bring light to the entire region. I am very happy to see that most of what makes Something Is Killing the Children so great is in fact present in this book. Although it does feel like they're pulling their punches a little bit. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, since the cover of Green Lantern Dark is labeled as 13+, so we're literally talking about the difference between PG-13 horror and something more R-rated. But despite that, what we've got here is a really good character-driven story that prioritizes people over plot. Rena Mori is still very much a mystery. She's a good person trying to make the best of a bad situation, and ended up straying off the path of being a hero since this world of darkness is too much to handle alone. She also apparently has full conversations with herself when she's alone, which Lunette catches her doing. I'm assuming that since the Tangent Green Lantern is mainly known for resurrecting people, she's actually talking to a dead person. That green light that's hovering around her is probably someone's soul or something. And since all of the Tangent heroes are dead, it could be any one of them. Hell, since the light is green, maybe it's the soul of the previous Green Lantern. But yeah, overall, I think they gave her a well thought out conflict and motivation, while asking just enough unanswered questions to get my theorist brain working overtime. Hopefully everything she just experienced means she'll be more open going forward, but still, she's pretty cool so far. What I didn't expect is how much I'd end up liking Lunette. I mean, how could I not strongly relate to a character that talks endlessly to anyone who will listen about how great Green Lantern is? But in all seriousness, I think her character zeroes in on something important. She shows us the positive impact of fandom. There are plenty of characters that are designed to explore and make fun of the toxic side of fandom. But something we don't see nearly often enough is a character like this, someone who uses their fandom to bring light to the lives of other people. She's a massive Green Lantern fan, and it's through her fandom that she was able to save her village. We literally see a moment of solidarity when her light spreads to everyone else. This is what fandom is supposed to be. It's about community, it's about bringing everyone together so we can all shine brighter than we ever could alone. I also want to point out how good this character's name is. Lunette means little moon in French, and Rena even calls her that near the end of the issue. Lunette is the moon, and she'd previously compared Green Lantern to the sun. That's significant because what we think of as moonlight is actually light from the sun being reflected back at us. In the absence of the sun, the moon keeps the darkness from completely dominating the night. Considering her role in the story, I can't think of a more appropriate name. And maybe this is just me reading too much into it, but I choose to believe that this exchange towards the end is a nice meta-commentary on how superheroes are what they are because of what storytellers say about them, emphasizing the importance of the people who create the media that we enjoy. So that's my take on Green Lantern Dark #1. Now I want to hear your opinion. What do you think of our new Tangent Green Lantern, Rena Mori? What do you think happened to her predecessor? Do you agree that Green Lantern is a perfect fit for the horror genre? Tell me all about it in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be talking in depth about every issue of this miniseries as they come out, and you won't want to miss it. Until next time, thank you for taking the time to watch. My name is Dan, we'll talk again soon.